Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much to everyone being here as well. Those of you who've been here before, you know how important it is to find the chat box because I keep every session highly interactive to the people in the room. So finding that chat box is real important. You'll see at the bottom there of your bar. Oh, did it quit? Did it quit Zoom? Hold on here. Am I lost am I still here in Zoom? Everybody let me know because some reason, okay, I don't know why I all of a sudden got this alert that you were removed from Zoom. I think I'm still here. Okay, that's why I want to find the chat box because I do get all these wonky little messages and I do not control the internet or Zoom. So do make sure you find that chat box. Thank you, everybody. Tisha, Carolina, Peggy, Vincent. Oh, Carolina, thank you for being here. Everybody, wonderful score here has put us together. So thankfully Zoom didn't take us out. So I'm glad to hear that. All right, everybody, we're going to get started, but do find that chat box. Today we're talking about how you can simplify your SEO and really simplify it with AI. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that you have a copy of the presentation. Yes, it'll be provided, but you can already get the slide deck and the handout that I'm utilizing. So let's go ahead and go here. You'll see I also dropped that link in the chat box. So all of those who found the chat box, you're ahead of the game. You already see it. You can click on it, or you can use the QR code that you see in front of you, and you'll get a copy of today's slides that I'm using because you might want to follow along. And when you get the recording, then you can speed me up and slow me down as needed so that you can use this as you apply what you've learned because knowledge is not powerful until it's applied. All right, so now let's say that we're also going to have the handouts there too. Oh, that was weird. Zoom. Okay, that was weird. Zoom took me out and then brought me back in. That is so, Zoom is having a moment today. All right, let me see if I can get my slide back up. Maybe you're seeing it already. There we go. All right, I'm going to bring the chat box up again. Sorry, guys, I don't control that. No worries, Christina. Absolutely. You're going to get the recording later, but I need just confirmation again because I was brought out and now I'm back in again. I just want to make sure that you can see the slide deck with a QR code. And I'm going to drop that link one last time here. Perfect, perfect. Peggy, Morgan, you guys are awesome. Vincent, thank you everyone. That's so helpful. I appreciate that. Zoom is crazy today. I tell you what. All right, let's just see if we can roll with it and make sure that that's our one and only time, everybody, right? All right, so this is who I am. I'm excited to be here. I am live, even though Zoom keeps bringing me in and out, just to give you a background of who I am. All right, there you go. You can see that I do work with the Grow with Google team. So I've been on the team for 7 years. Today, though, we're talking about how we can simplify SEO with AI. So let's go ahead and launch into that. Now, if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me two ways. And I guess I did not save when I put that slide together or actually it was yesterday morning. You know how the days start running together. But at the very bottom left hand, that's me on Twitter. So if you want to connect with me there, I always love to do celebratory gift dances that you actually did what you said you were going to do and what you have learned here today, because applying what you learned is really what is powerful. And then my Instagram is not that. It is here. I'm going to put it in the chat, Marketing Coach Maria, just because I do like to connect with you. I love to hear what you've actually applied that you've learned. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in because today we're going to be talking about AI. And AI is artificial intelligence, but I want to take this from the route of you are a busy business owner and how do you put this in, or a busy marketer, and how do you put this into your day-to-day life while you're still being butcher, baker, and candlestick maker, chief analyst, and now chief of artificial intelligence. If you didn't know, you have been utilizing AI for quite some time. You know, it's really good for productivity, analysis, content, and insights. But you actually have had exposure to it and have been using it if you've ever been recommended an actual, let me go back here. There we go. Getting some Zoom different warnings, so I apologize for that distraction. But if you've ever looked at YouTube and seen the recommended videos, if you've ever gone to a site and engaged engaged with the chat box on the site, if you've ever written in Gmail and then all of a sudden the words started filling out and finishing because it already realized your speech pattern and what you write about and what the logical next thing that would be said, like if you said, you know what, it's coming rain or shine, you know, it's this or, and then all you put is this or, and then that is actually artificial intelligence at work. It's been around for a while, but now, since the past year, you've seen it really come to the fruition and to the top of the stack of how SEO is handled, which is search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, I know, is a big, scary technical word for a lot of people who are great at what they do, but really are concerned about how they are seen and how do they get found online. What that truly is making sure that the search engine is confident in you. And in order to do that, there are several things that you can do. First, with Google search, because it is the #1 search engine in the world. It's not the only search engine, but it is the #1 search engine in the world. And because of that, it's important to do what's right by Google, because if Google sees you, then it works for Bing and DuckDuckGo and Brave and Firefox and whatever else you utilize as your browsers and your search. So when you look at Google, there are so many free tools that you can use that will help you with SEO. Now, I'm not going to be talking about those today because we've talked about those in other sessions, and I'm happy to come back, Bill, anytime. You know how much I love working with SCORE, and I love the focus that you have in sharing other people's experience with people, because that is much more valuable than other people's time and other people's money, because you are saving yourself time and stress from having to go through these hills and valleys of learning these skill sets and the lessons that they have actually learned. So when we look at AI, these are some opportunities where we can use it already. We see it even with Zoom, when you see people coming in using Otter AI. So sometimes I come to meetings and that's all it is a bunch of otters. Yeah, you just see Otter, Otter. It's Kendra's Otter. It's David's. It's Vincent's Otter. But that is where you see a lot of AI happening, is in automation. So it's built into all of the video meetings already, from Microsoft Teams to Google Meet to Zoom. Or it could be even in your billing and your invoicing, as those are automatically put together. Artificial intelligence is a set of algorithms that are doing repetitive tasks or looking at different data. And there's different types of AI, from generative search AI to actual large language models. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And really today we're going to focus on language, because a lot of what SEO does is it actually looks at the words that people utilize and it tries to match those words, because that's how you build confidence. When you're relevant, then you can be found in Google. Google's algorithm, our search algorithm, is built on three things. #1 is how relevant are you? How well do you match what people are searching? So if you have an overhead door company, okay, so you've got an overhead door company and all your wording on everything on your website and all the things you're doing on social, posting in Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn, now it says overhead door company, but people are searching for who can fix my garage door. Is it matching? No, because the exact words are fixing garage door, and you're putting out overhead door company. It's not relevant, so there's not a match. So the better that you connect with people's words, the better then that you're seen as relevant. And that's #1 and the biggest pillar within Google's algorithm. So when you look at AI, one of the greatest things it can do is really help you crunch through a lot of data and also a lot of different formats of language, really understanding, going out to all of the data that's out there and really understanding how and what words people are using. Now, can you do this without AI? Absolutely. You can do this without AI. You can do this just very manually. But now what would have taken us maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks to do, can take us a couple of hours, maybe even just an hour, maybe even less than that, because its superpowers is being able to crunch large amounts of data and be able to look for similarities and trends. So one of the places that I like to tell people that there's low-hanging fruit for your SEO, search engine optimization, again, that's building confidence in the search engine that what you have matches what somebody is searching for. When the search engine's confident with you, it lifts you higher in search. One of the best ways is to read your own reviews, right? Because when you read your own reviews, in their own words, people write about what matters most to them. They put that front and center at the top of their actual review. It may be what they only cover is something that's meaningful to them. You may do 10, 100 different things really, really well, but the thing that matters most to them is at the top of their reviews and in their own words. So you can match and not be mismatched by saying overhead door when they're looking for a garage door. Okay, so that's really important to understand, and that's all on us to be experts on our customers. And that means understanding what they search for, what they look for, and the words they use. Now, also, if you don't have reviews, now go to your competitors' reviews. It's always good to do competitive analysis because in their reviews, you will also still see what matters most to those potential people who are doing business with your competitors, who you might get them looking at you, but you'll also see where the gaps are, where there could be opportunity for you because your actual competitor is not doing that. So as we look here, there's things like customer service. We already see like chatbots, team management. If you're on Trello, Monday, Asana, Basecamp, there is AI in full force going to business there. We also see it in meeting and appointment schedule when it looks out to your appointment calendar. We see that all through all of the meeting booking systems there are, and there are thousands of them. I just listed a couple there. And then of course, language translation. There's been that for a while. Google Lens has been around for a while. If you don't know what Google Lens is, that is when you use your phone. Now, if you have an Android, it's built in. If you have an iPhone, you can get it in the App Store. If you have an Android that doesn't have it, you can also get that in the Google Play Store. But what that is that you can snap a picture. Let's say I'm at a festival and I can snap a picture and it'll take a picture of, let's say, some great spices I just found. Now it'll take that picture and search who locally has those spices, because of course the second part of Google's algorithm, search algorithm, is distance. How far are you from the person that's searching? It tries to pull the people that are the closest. That doesn't mean that you can't win if you serve nation or worldwide and you have that product, but you better have some great reviews, because that's the third part of the algorithm. Prominence, your quality score. Do you have great reviews? Do you respond to your reviews? If you are a brand, just a personal brand or a business or service business, do you have 60 at least minimum 5-star reviews? If you're an e-commerce store, do you have 120 5-star reviews? Because that's minimum to compete nationwide. So it's important that you know that if you see somebody that is in there, let's say you're local, you have no reviews, you're not using the words that people are matching and looking for, and now all of a sudden you have somebody who's nationwide, but they've got 2,000 5-star reviews, and they may be in Connecticut and you're in Indiana, they still may show up because they're matching better with their prominence and quality score. You know, how much do they update things? Do they look at their reviews? Do they have videos? Do they update their videos? All of that is your prominence and your quality score that Google does look to. So how you can use AI as a small business or a freelancer, even individual marketer. You can do it for research, really to understand the audience and get a good feel for what is it they're thinking, what are they searching for. All AI, especially AI large language model, can now go online and search. At the very beginning, at least when I first got involved with AI, it was November 2021, wasn't even in the public eye. And then in the last year, it's become the hot buzzword that everybody talks about. But before then, it didn't even go out to search the entire current search engine. It was 2 years behind because it was still in the learning status. But now you can go out there, you can also brainstorm ideas to find out exactly what's happening, what people are thinking, helps you with outlines, drafts, can even write your social media posts if you teach your AI to utilize your own style. So you teach it your writing and your speaking and your social media post style, and it can help you do that as well. It can create visuals, all of these, as you see there. I'm not going to read through all of them, but the big thing is SEO edits. I like to take AI through a website and say, what would you change here? Now, there are several free Google tools you can use to do that too, and I'll show you some of those in just a moment. But this is how you can make some good decisions here through SEO in utilizing AI, and it can save you tremendous time, energy, and money. So when we look at this, the most helpful that people have found is not just in reviewing their site. Yes, there's some code you can do. I'm not going to get into code because that's way too tech speak. And I'm very much about, hey, what does it take practically to still take care of your customer, take care of business, and use the best part of this, and still have time at the end of the day, right? And be able to sleep. So when we look at AI, I like to utilize it predominantly for keyword research, for on-page optimization, and really to help optimize the content that's there. Technical SEO, it will pick that up, but I'm not the one to write the code. I usually work with professionals who are good at that, because I don't want to erase anything. Can AI automate image editing and add metadata to images? Absolutely. In fact, there is a text AI. You when you get a copy of today's recording and slides, because I'll also send that to you. If you'll reply to me, Julie, I'll give you the link to. There is one that will go in and do all of the alt text for all of your photos. So it's putting all the meta description back there, because that's really important to being found in search. And I love it because I work with a lot of influencers who may have 3,000 different blogs. And on top of that, each blog has 2 or 3 photos. So it's hard for them to go back there and to be able to put all of that alt text in. And you do need that for good search engine optimization. That helps the search engine feel confident. And it also, Julie, just so you know, when you have alt text, just for everybody in here, it makes sure that your information is accessible to anybody, which is very important and weighs heavy into Google's algorithm. You want to make sure that your site is accessible. So if a screen reader is reading it and all it's getting is a block of photo and it doesn't have any alt text or caption to be able to describe what that is, then you're actually missing about 62% of the population that has cited issues. So that's also important for you to keep in mind, because Google does lean into that as far as the photos. Okay. With the prompt to use. Oh, we'll talk about prompts in just a moment, Michelle. All right. I just want to make sure, because a lot of people, since we're a large group in here, a lot of people may not be really familiar with AI. This might be their first exposure. So I want to make sure that we're at least utilizing the same definition, right? This is our same foundation as we move forward. So yes, in fact, one of the things that I just shared with you, and I'm going to drop that again, there's the link to the slides in the handout, is you'll actually see there's an entire prompt guide in there. Okay, so there's a complete prompt guide walking you through everything at that link, and that's free and accessible to you while while we're in session. And then when the session's over, it won't be available there. You're welcome, Michelle. It won't be available there, but it'll be emailed to you with a copy of the recording. Okay, so just wanted to give you that heads up. So people are utilizing it, and that's actually seen as positive. Again, when we're talking about keywords, let's go into that, because your keyword strategy does need to change. The reason being is we are now all conversational when we search. No longer do we just type in a few words. We type in full sentences. We type in full blocks, full paragraphs when we're looking. We even speak to our AI now, right? Most of the AI can take a verbal command and verbal question. So understanding that means that we need to know the words people use in order for us to be relevant, right? We've got to match them. So we need to use the words and phrases. So conversational speech has really come into how we ask things. For those of you from back in the day, you may remember Ask Jeeves. I'm going to date myself right now, but that's how we asked for things with Ask Jeeves and ICQ. We asked for things that way, in full sentences and full paragraphs. So it's important that you do that and you realize that is the way everyone is searching now. And it's important because most people go to 5 different sites, 5 different sources before they make a buying decision, and 15%, every single day, 15% of a trillion searches that happen on Google every single day are brand new searches that have never, ever in the history of Google, since Google's been around since 2004, have ever been searched. 15% every single day are new. So remember, AI just regurgitates content. There are certain words, everybody, that we know AI is great at utilizing over and over again. Blast off, dominate. You want to excel. You want to engage. There are some words that you'll search. If you search it, you'll see the AI words that people see and that a lot of search engines already recognize. Those are AI words. So the big benefit that we have as human beings is we have personal experience and we have emotions and we understand the actual words that are being utilized, right? We understand what they mean. Sail in the United States can mean sail, a sail. I'm going to go sailing for sale, we're having a sale. It has so many different meanings. So we actually know that because as human beings, we understand what it's like to talk person to person. And still, even to this day, people do business with people. So it's important that we put a human filter. That's where we can get into personal stories and anecdotes, because people love stories. Facts may tell, but stories absolutely sell. We engage the emotion and we engage the whole person. It also we need to look at our words and our tone. Does it understand us? Now, understand, I've been teaching and training my AI since November 2021. It really understands my style very, very well. It's read what I've written, it's listened to anything that I've recorded and have on YouTube. It's listened and looked to my Instagram reels, anything that I put out in video. It's read all of my posts, so it understands me very well. But it took not just a week, it took months to actually teach it to understand, and I'm still fine tuning it. There's still times when it does something that I'm like, I wouldn't really say that, so then I'll come back and teach it, and we'll talk about that more. Also, make sure you use those tones that invite and let people know there's a person at the other end of this, because we can be downright mean when we think we're talking to a machine, can't we? We've all seen that with chatbots. And then also recent events and certified sources, because AI will lie to answer your questions. So do know that. The best way to explain it is I was at an event a Marketech event speaking on stage, and a guy explained it perfectly. If you know the show The Big Bang Theory, he said it's like Sheldon's brain explained by Penny. So that is something, it's very arrogant, and it will come up with any answer at all, but you need to fact check that answer. And that's why I like utilizing a couple of AIs from ChatGPT to Google Gemini, because you can go out there and fact check it with Google Gemini. So to find out what phrases to look at, you can look at Google Trends. That is one that's already available to you 100% free. Now, a lot of people don't think about it as AI, but it is going into and leaning to all the trillion searches that happen on Google. By a show of ones, how many of you have used Google Trends? I know we're talking today about AI, but I want to make sure that we're not stepping over what is really good and can give you helpful information that's valuable and profitable to you just because we're looking at the big shiny object in the room. Okay, how have you used it, Michelle, Morgan, Amanda? I'd love to hear how you've used it. Just use that chat box. Keyword search. All right. Absolutely. All right, let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to bring that up. Somebody shared a moment ago their business. So, what their business industry is. Keywords for blogs. Perfect. Amanda, see, I love how you're using that, Amanda. Everybody take a look at Amanda's comments, because that's a great way to use it. Market specific keywords. Okay, so let's see. Affordable housing. All right. Thank you, Michelle, for playing with us there. You're the first to jump out with a topic. I'm going to go to, remember, Zoom's acting crazy, so let me know in the chat box if something wonky happens. I'm going to go here to a live demo. All right, so I'm going to put affordable housing in. I'm going to hit explore. So you got here by going to G. I'll put this in the chat box. G.co/trends. All right, just dropped it in the chat box to everybody. I'm going to hit explore, and you'll see it comes up in the past day how many people have been searching in the United States for affordable housing across the web. It's an entire web search. We can come down here and see where they're searching the most, which regions. So there are 40 sub-regions there. Exactly what topics are they talking about, and what are they asking about? What are their exact questions? So general topics and then exact questions. So let's say I wanted to do a YouTube video. I might want to focus, and let's say I'm in Texas, right? So let's say I'm in, or actually I'm going to say I'm in Indiana, right? So I'm in Indiana, and I'm wanting to know in the last week, so the past 7 days, because you can see I can decide how long, I can do an hour, 4 hours, 12 months, and then all the way to the beginning of time is 2004 when Google started. And then I can go in here and go into a YouTube search, because I want to find out what I should do a video about. Okay, not enough people looking for that exact word in the past 7 days in Indiana. So we might need to expand out the time period. So let's look at the past 30 days. Okay, better search. It's actually more in Chicago that they're looking, so not quite Indiana. So if I go out to the past 90 days, so you can see sometimes there's not enough searches, especially in a different locale. So you might want to expand out your days, or you might want to expand out, across the entire United States. So I want to go I know how we trend across the United States region, so I'll go to the whole United States in the past 7 days. I can look at the regions and I can see what they're utilizing. And the benefit of this is this can help you be seen, because if people are already looking and searching here, you've got eyeballs there. And it takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money for people to look one place when their eyeballs are already at another place. Okay? Perfect, everybody. So does Google Trends work off of a percentage of trends on the platform rather than the exact search count? It actually looks at the exact search count. It used to look at just the trends before, but understand we've got AI now powering everything. So you see a lot of generative search really happening there, or AI assisted search, right? So you can get there by utilizing that link at the very bottom left-hand corner, and you can do things like find relevant products. Maybe there's something that's a great complement that's not an actual competitor, or that also would be ancillary, bought or bought before they do business with you. So when you think about how people act and you being an expert on your customer, knowing what they do before they're in the looking zone, how they search and what they need, when you can connect with them there, people will step over dollars to do business with you because it's somebody they know, like, and trust, as opposed to when we're in the looking zone, we're ready to make a purchase. Now all of a sudden we are here competing on as a commodity. So we're competing on price. Yes. Okay, so that's why you'll see different, Zach, let me show you here. You'll see breakouts, and that's really what to take a look at, are the breakouts. So you see here, let me bring it back up again. There we go. So you see the breakouts are affordable housing or the increases plus 190%, because that does mean that people are seeing it. Now, if I were working Google Ads, I would actually use affordable housing solutions because it's a breakout. That means Google doesn't see it as popular, which means it doesn't cost as much to do an ad as if it was something that was already very popular and seen quite frequently, because of course then it's very competitive in the ad space because people are aware of it. Okay. All right, so how you can use AI is through content development is one of the places, because we know that helpful user content is what is important in being able to stand out and to be found with SEO. And it's the biggest change that we've seen in 2024 compared to how SEO was handled before. Now, it was important to do content creation before, but we used to see people just throwing out blogs everywhere and all these crazy links and citations that don't do anything anymore. Google is very smart. It's got AI in place, so it knows those things are not helpful to the end user. And so when I'm working with people, a lot of times talking about how you can get listed, how you can be seen, I am using all of the free Google tools like Google Business Profile and local citations, because I know the importance of the 60 or 125 star reviews that you need. So when you define your best customer, that's the first part. And this is where most small businesses fail, because they want to serve anybody, everybody, and somebody. And the second they get their second cousin nobody when they do that. Yes, Jim, we said it's going to be recorded and sent to you. Plus, if you use this link here, you can actually get a copy of, let me put this here again, Google Maria, there we go. You can get a copy of the slides right now. Okay. We always record these and you get it, but not right away. No, it'll come later. All right. Thanks for asking, Jim. Just in case anybody else didn't see that we talked about that at the beginning, that's what's going to happen. And the slides are available to you, as well as a handout that is a prompt guide that you can use immediately to help you with your AI prompts if you're already utilizing AI prompts. So make sure that you get that. It will not be there at the top of the hour when we finish up. So it will be emailed to you with a recording, but do know it's there right now if you want to use it and follow along. So knowing what motivates your best client is important, because remember what I said, if you try to get anybody, everybody, and somebody, you get their second cousin nobody, and it really is too wide, and we don't have the kind of funds to be able to reach the entire world. So we really need to know who is the best customer we serve. Does it mean that we cannot serve anybody, everybody, and somebody? Absolutely not. It means that everybody else is gravy. But let's say we know that this is our persona number one, our best customer, and these are 2, 3, 4. These are the attributes and the motivation behind these customers. Then those can be the 4 customers that we focus on. Everybody else we get is gravy, but we do not want to miss who our best customer is. So I working with a company that has, and started when we first started together with them, they were making $300,000 a year in their garage. They have since grown and they make 8.1 million, and they serve throughout the United States. Their one focus is people, women that own dogs between the ages of 25 and 44 years old. The reason why that's so important is because that market happens to shop on their mobile device at 2:20 in the morning. So he doesn't release any of his ads or his social posts till 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that he can't serve every dog owner, male or female, but he doesn't want to miss the actual customer that gives him the most pleasure and profit. So you really need to think beyond search about your customer. What is it that they need? How can you be seen as an expert and be able to help them avoid any pitfalls? Because that's how you stand out as an expert. When they can see you can avoid any pitfalls in your product, service, or solution, and now they will step over dollars to do business with you. Because now you can use and know the words that will be most helpful to you as they're going through and engaging you, discovering that you exist, and being aware that you exist. So when we look at the funnel, awareness is first. Whether or not people know you exist is whether or not they can do business with you. And then, do they consider you? Do they trust you? How are they finding those answers? Are you the expert at what you do? Are you seen as the expert? Because it doesn't matter what budget we have. We could have champagne dreams and a beer budget, but if you are an expert, we want to do business with you. We don't want to do business with somebody who was great back in the day, or really somebody shifty that we can't even find online. In fact, if people can't find you in the first 10 searches of an organic Google search, so that's 2 swipes on a mobile device, then they don't consider you great at what you do. If they have to look and swipe and swipe and swipe up, then you're seen as maybe back in the day, or maybe you closed down in 2020 like a lot of businesses did, or you're not up to speed on what you're doing. So how to build a buyer persona? Actually, I'm going to cover that in just a minute, Shai. So I am actually going to cover it. So you're going to have it in the slides, how to use AI to do that. And then you're also going to have it in the recording. So you're great, Shai. You're ready to go. So what tools do you use for audience research? I use Google Trends. I look at Google Analytics to see how people consume information on the site. These are all free, by the way. Google Trends is free, Google Analytics. I look at Google Search Console. Also, to be able to see how people and how the search engine sees you, whether or not it feels you're confident, whether or not it feels your information's helpful and delivering, because that's the door to Google's library. Just so you know, Google's not the World Wide Web, but it is the biggest library of the World Wide Web. So it's on us as small businesses to enter our digital property, our website, on and in the library. If you just post something and publish it and hope Googlebot will find it, it can take 90 days, sometimes even 120 days. And I don't know a small business owner that has time to hope and wait. While hope is wonderful to have, it's a poor strategy. So that's something else that I also do as well, making sure I utilize those 3 tools. And then of course I research utilizing AI and looking at the analytics of reviews, because remember what I said at the top of the hour, in their own words, they're using exactly what matters most to them. And it's important for you to know their own words, not industry speak, not your words, their words, if that's who you want to do business with. So in your funnel, it could be you're stuck on any of these 2. This is top of funnel. So I'm going to go back to that funnel. It's awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. It's always that flow. First is awareness. That is the biggest part of the funnel right here. So that's the widest we go, is when we have awareness, making sure people know that we exist. But then how do we build that trust? So a lot of times it's because our messaging and the language on our website is not building confidence in Google of what we do, because it doesn't match anybody. It's generic. It's for anybody. And so it doesn't feel like it's relevant for the person who's there searching. It may show you up in the bottom 30 or 40 searches, but surely not at the top 10, because you're not matching. That's why I've spent so much time wanting to make sure you understand what your best customer looks like and knowing the words they use. Or it could be the bottom half of the funnel. It's you're great at getting awareness. They really trust, they know what you do. They have no idea how to do business with you. And they have no idea how you can help them. How can they apply what they learn? Again, all of that heavy lifting of connecting those dots is on us. How do we connect that to them? How do we provide good calls to action? Because people are busy. We're inundated with 12,400 messages on any given day. We may have every intention to finish that video and watch another video that you put out, or buy something, or download a PDF, or leave our information, or send you an email with questions. And then all of a sudden, somebody drops something, somebody runs into us, somebody cuts us off, or worse yet, the dog pees on the floor. We're distracted, right? Either way, we need to know that when they come back, we have given them what they need to do next. So good calls to action are important. And then do we build trust in them knowing that our site has reviews on it? Everything's aligned, so there's good symmetry, because good symmetry and disconnects as far as our logo being different at different places shows people inconsistency, and inconsistency does not build trust. You must be consistent to build trust. Are we also using language that meets our customer where they're at in their actual buyer awareness? Because if I don't have a problem, and I don't think I have a problem, I'm not searching for your solution. So I'm unaware. As you look at the top there, I'm unaware there's an issue or problem. But then when I become aware, I will start searching. And it's important for us to know, where do they look for when they become problem aware? Do they talk to their friends? Do they start going to forums? What do they do? When they become solution aware, as they go to number 3, they realize, there's packages. My AC broke, but there's actually maintenance of packages around. I can get maintenance packages and then never have to go through a sweltering hot summer again, because I know I've got maintenance all taken care of and they're keeping on top of me. But I don't know what maintenance projects to get. Okay, yes, I need one with a filter. So now they're becoming product aware. There's one with a filter here. Oh, okay, this AC company, this heating and air conditioning company, this refrigeration company can help me. But as they move to number 5, that's when they know it doesn't matter who all has product. They are you aware, and they know that's who I want to work with. When push comes to shove and it's time and I need my AC, I'm doing business with them. I want to make sure they're backing me up, making sure I get nice, cool, or hot, whatever I need, cool or heat, depending on the season. They have that. So as you look at the 4 bullets at the bottom left-hand corner, those are the questions you need to answer for your customers. Do not just put things out there and hope that they're going to make that connection. That is on us to take them through the funnel, and also for us to identify where they are in their buyer or their consumer awareness. So as we do that, now we can utilize AI. So I know I spent a lot of time talking about that, and we're talking about AI, but this is where people often fail. They do not think and do the foundational work, and they just expect AI is going to be that silver bullet. It's going to fix everything. Well, bad information in, bad information out. So here's how you do this. You have to think about who the persona is. Who's that best customer? You see why I started with persona so heavy? And then what is it that you want to do? So it might be, who is the persona? It could be that best customer, or maybe I am wanting AI to act like a great blog writer. I want you to act like a blog writer. I want to actually act like the best social media marketing manager ever. So those are the 2 personas I could teach it. The task could be, all right, this is our best customer, who is a busy business owner who needs to know how to navigate Google quickly. That's the persona. So I could go down that route for a prompt, or I could go down another route saying, you know what, I'm an expert on Google. I want you to be really an expert, not just on Google, but also to be an expert on small businesses and social media marketing, because I need you to make some Instagram captions for me and to write them out with emojis in there that really emphasize and can engage people as they're going through they're going through any of the socials. They're going through searching on social. All right. Who's that audience? People who are searching on social, maybe in Instagram. What's the context? I want to know what I want to address what they're thinking about, that they don't need Google search, that everybody's searching on TikTok, and understand how people go through the buying process and the discovery process. And those are 2 different things. And then what's the framework? I'd like this to fit in an Instagram caption, and then also do a version for a Twitter tweet. It needs to be within 280 characters. Utilize at least 4 different hashtags that match what people are currently searching now. Okay, so that might be the prompt that I actually put together. Again, this walks you through how to do that, and you can utilize this slide deck as your checklist. Plus, again, we have that handout I put there on AI prompts and how you can utilize that. Remember, you can always make improvements. That's the part of teaching your AI that's very important. So for example, I'm going to show, this is exactly what I taught my AI when I first started with it. I said, I wanted it to interview me to find my target audience because I am the one who's the expert in my business. I know it inside and out. It's who anybody I work with goes with me, any contractor, or if I bring in an assistant. So it asked me the following bullet point questions. Asked me that, and then I answered it. Now, at the very bottom, the very last bullet point there that's separated from the rest, when I gave AI its answer, I just wrote it out. At that time, I was typing, right? You can still speak it out now, but I just typed it out. Wasn't even worried about punctuation or grammar because AI's been taught pretty well to understand all the different typos that we put in. If you think of Grammarly that does all the grammatical checks and such is all operated on AI. Now, the next prompt I put was break this down for me. Who are they? What are their challenges? What are their pain points? And what do they need? Okay, so at this point, I just said, what is their pain points? Because AI doesn't care whether or not I'm grammatically correct. It's still looking at this, and now it's going to break that down for me. And then I said, write the target audience as a prompt that I can continue to use to build offers and funnels. Why? Because I use more than one AI. So I actually used, at that point, it was ChatGPT with the first AI that was out, and it was before the general public had access to it. But as soon as they had access, then I was able to utilize the prompt that it created to teach Google Gemini, to teach Claude, all the other AIs that are available. One of the other things that I did, one of the first things I did with AI was to be able to look at Amazon. And I looked and read Amazon reviews. And then I copy and pasted a bunch of Amazon reviews from a competitor and asked AI for the questions that you see highlighted in yellow. Actually, they're the ABC questions. What are the top 10 common positive items mentioned? Understand that in a matter of 3 minutes, AI came up with the top 10, the top 5, what's the most popular, and what's the most common concern. Now, what I've shared with you here is if you want to do that with your Google reviews and even competitor reviews, you can do that with your Google business profile. This is not a Google tool, so it's not endorsed by Google, but it is something we bootstrap marketers like to use. You can go there, add that to ChatGPT or even to Google Gemini or Claude if that's what you prefer, because those are the 3 big large language models. And you can go out there and see those commonalities, and that will help you identify those words that are relevant and what matters most to your best customer, really helping you understand that best customer. So I'm going to show you some prompts that are some really easy prompts to start with. And of course, you've got the prompt guide that you have. Understand large language model. When I talk about that, when you hear about that in AI, is a form of artificial intelligence. ChatGPT is what we know a lot of. I happen to have 4.0, which is the paid version, just because I like its speed and I don't like to be slowed down that it's too busy with other queries or other prompts that people are working on. So ChatGPT, that is heavily endorsed and heavily funded by Microsoft. We've got Claude 3, Haiku and Sonnet. So there's the paid version, there's the free version. That's actually by Anthropic and it's fueled by Amazon. There's Google Gemini, which is Google Gemini, and there's many, many more that you see out there, right? So when you're looking at AI-based large language models, it can help you overcome writer's block because it can give you a lot of ideas about what people are thinking about. Yes, Shakita, you do get a recording of it. You'll get also a copy of today's slides right now until the top of the hour when we all will log off. That will no longer be available, but it will be emailed to you with a recording. Okay, so it won't be right away. But if you want the slides and you want the handout with the prompt guide in there, then you can go there right now to the link that I just sent you. You'll also want to differentiate creative text. Okay, so there's different formats. What do you want? Do you want it Instagram or do you want it to use in different languages? One of my most famous things that I love to do, so I love to watch anime with my sons, right? I've got 3 boys. So I will bring up Google Lens and we watch it in Japanese, and I will just bring this up and it translates for me. So sometimes it's been translated already, sometimes not, depending on when it's released. So I'll actually do that so it can translate in real time. All right, and I know there was a typo there. I just saw that. Languages are spelled differently. All right, so you see, I've been talking to AI too much. I don't even care about my own grammar. All right, so this is one framework. I told you I was going to teach you 5. Here's one. RTF, right? Oh, you're very welcome. You're welcome, Shakita. So RTF is, I love acronyms. So that's role, task, format. You identify the role that you want, and it says ChatGPT here, but understand it's any AI. be it that you use Google Gemini or that you use ChatGPT or Claude or Sonnet. All right, so then you have a format that you want it actually to be in. So for example, let's say the role is you're a content creator, you want it to write a creative and engaging social media caption, and then you want it in a Twitter thread. So let's see that in a moment in real time. All right, so when you first sign in, I'm going to play with Google Gemini right now. So when you come to Google Gemini, you will first have to agree to the terms and services. All right, the terms of service. This is connected for free to any Google account. Once you've done that, now you'll see this here. So I can say, remember we said role, the role is I'm a social media expert. All right, so the task is please write a caption for me about affordable housing in Chicago that's positive, giving, oops, can't spell positive, here we go, giving practical tips on how to find and apply for affordable housing, and even 2 recommendations on how to find an expert to help them, to help the audience looking for this. Yes. Please provide 3 hashtags and use emojis. Tailor this for Gen Z speak. Okay, so there it is. Now, of course, put a human filter on it, right? Because this is AI speaking. So does that sound right to you? Does it sound like somebody would say? You could put the expert name, so it's not giving you a recommendation there. You can come back and say, who would you recommend? And it'll probably take you to several sites and let you use your human filter to discern that. But then you can come back here and teach AI, okay, these are the 2 experts that I really like, so that it'll learn that these 2 are experts, and it'll lean into that and also go to their sites and look for them for information whenever it's providing you future prompts. Okay, so that's one way that you can do that. All right, let's go now to the next framework. It's chain of thought. This is just letting AI think step by step. All right, you did that. You found the experts. Now let's think about, what are some other people that support the experts? Who could it be? Somebody that is, helpful in at the Economic Development Center? Could it be somebody that's helpful in, at SCORE or the SBA or SBDC? Again, we give it some chain of thought. So that's another way to do that. The RISN framework is just that. It is, again, an acronym. So we're looking at the role, identify the role that we want AI to take on, giving it specific instructions. What instructions do we want it exactly to do? So you saw me do that in real time. Then steps, outline the steps you want AI to follow. Okay, what's the end goal? The end goal is we want something engaging in this instance. Sometimes when I'm putting together content, I'll say, be very direct, be very authoritative, but positive and encouraging. All right, so it could be that more millennial speak, more professional speak. I'm not really focused on Generation X, and I want to make sure that I'm utilizing terms and references that align with Generation X. So you can see what the end goal is, and then narrowing down that scope is just like what I did there. I want more for Generation X. I want more for somebody who's a business owner. I want something more for somebody who is a volunteer with SCORE. Okay, so those can be the different frameworks and the different personas that you put in. So in the example here, you're a business consultant, and the instructions are, I would like you to write a creative and informative blog post about the benefits of using AI for small business. So in the introduction, the steps are define AI and explain what it can do, right? So that's what I'm actually giving to AI. I can go to AI and it can put a whole presentation deck together for me and outline within the matter of 10 minutes. And then it takes the human factor to go and tweak to say, you know what, yes, people would like that, or no, that would just bore them, or that's way too many things on a slide to cover in one absolute sitting. The RODES framework is just that, RODES, role. What's the objective? My objective is I've got to sell my course about Google Business Profile. So I got to sell that. I got to sell that, right? Or maybe I've got to sell the course that I did on smarter marketing, how you can use AI in all of your marketing, right? So the details, I provide the specific details to AI, and then I give it even examples of what it needs to look for, how that can be helpful. And then I do a sense check, which is I ask ChatGPT to confirm that it understands. So a lot of times when I'm working on big projects, like different plans that I'm working and marketing structure that I'm putting together that includes all of the ways people search and the different ways that they're searching and the different prompts they're using or the different keyword phrases that they're actually using. I will go in there and do a sense check with AI and say, do you understand exactly what I'm asking for? So it says it back to me. Like a child, this is where I'm teaching and getting that feedback back and forth. And it's in that feedback that I give it, I get from it, and I give it then back to help it adjust that it learns. So Rhodes examples, for example, I say your role is a copywriter and you want to write a compelling landing page with a headline for a new product. So I give the details of what the actual product is and then some examples. Maybe there's some strong landing pages that look really good, or an actual competitor that I really admire and would like to be able to emulate but not copy them exactly. So I want to follow that style, but I want the content to be like mine, which I do say quite a bit. I'll say, oh, I love this style, but the content has to be from me. And then I will ask, do you understand what I'm looking for, so that we don't spend a lot of time and energy creating things that maybe is just not on the mark that you need to do for AI, right? So I help try to direct it. Now, I also utilize teach me what I taught you. All right, that's one of the first things I did with AI, because one of the my four fun things that I did with AI is I actually went out and I pulled all the information that I could from Steve Jobs, of what Steve Jobs has written, because I wanted it to understand Steve Jobs' style. I put transcripts of Steve Jobs from YouTube. I wanted it to understand that. I also wanted it to I pulled the next person I pulled was Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds is just funny, and I loved all of his information and what he does as an entrepreneur. Then I pulled Elon Musk because I needed a little spice in there and somebody who will disagree with him and push back and be pretty aggressive about it. And then I brought in Stephen Covey's writings and transcripts from his YouTube videos, which Stephen Covey is the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I wanted him to talk about time management and what matters most. And that actually is who, over the last, as I said, couple of years that I've been involved with AI, I actually go to them every morning. They're my 4 coaches, and ask them to discuss things, and they will debate things out. But it's interesting to see the different perspectives, because it's things that I can't ask currently because some of these people are not alive anymore. So I love to do that. For you, now I'm looking forward to know what you're going to apply, because I've shared a lot with you today, right? Does AI save future prompts? Yes, it does. Right, it does. It saves future prompts. Let me show you what that looks like. And let me bring it up here. I'm going to show you right now in Google Gemini real quick. Hold on, I'm switching screens, so that takes just a moment. All right, so okay, so here we go. There we go. Just want to make sure that was on the right screen. So if you look here, this also with ChatGPT, you'll see it to the left. You'll see all of the saved prompts. So you can go here, click on this 3 lines. That's called the hamburger menu, because it's like a sandwich, a hamburger. And then you could put these here. You can come in here and you can rename it. You can pin it so you can come back to it later. So it's a prompt that you use all the time. You can delete it if it hasn't nothing to do with you. Or as I said, you can name it better, because maybe right there you were looking for affordable housing, but let's say 20 or 50 prompts later, you're not going to remember what that was for. And you want to pin it to the very top so you can find it right away. And then you can close it, so then you can focus on whatever you're searching at the moment. Okay? All right. So the paid version, I think, of ChatGPT, but I think the free version of ChatGPT also still saves prompts as well. I'm just not sure how many it saves. Okay. So I'd love to hear in the chat box what you're going to apply, because I always want to be a benefit to your time, where you learn something to be able to take it to the next level, and not just something that's entertaining or edutainment that you're just going to take a look at. So I'm going to go through my 100 plus most important to my customers. Oh, Caroline, that is just going to make a world of difference. It's going to make a world of difference for you and what you focus on all of your content, even that you're posting in socials. But also you're going to teach your AI that, and it can help you a whole lot more, because now it truly is understanding the real words of your customers. That's awesome. All right, I always finish with a recap and resources before we go to live Q&A. All right, because live Q&A is not recorded because I want to preserve your privacy, and it's also for the people who stay, right? It's the benefit for staying. So the free recap and resources, your number one resource here is SCORE. These are people who walk the walk. I cannot tell you the value that I see in that. I was working with a small business owner that's just started a sports franchise, and he is just putting together his board of advisors for the first time. And I told him, having those other people's experience, I began in an incubator. I had my own board of advisors for my first 5 years of business to make sure that I didn't get blindsided. I wish I had known more about SCORE because I had one SCORE mentor there, but I should have gone to more SCORE mentors because I think that would have helped me just save some time and then avoid some costly pitfalls, right? Now, if you want to find me, you can find me here. I'm coming back to SCORE again. I love working with the team here, and I am here to help you. So please let them know what you need. Now, understand if you have any questions, get with them because they are truly vested in your success and they want to support you. But if you want to connect with me, that bit.ly link at the very top brings up all my socials. Choose the one you like best, and I'll have celebration dances with you whenever you apply what you learned. I'd love to see what your first prompt is if you've never done a prompt, or when you find out, you know what, these are the top 10 things people actually love about my business, or this is what they dislike about my competitor. That's great opportunity for me. And I always model what I teach, which is when you've given good product, service, or information, ask for a review. People do not have to feel obligated to do it, but understand most people would have left you a good review had you asked because they intended to. And they're going to get distracted in just a moment when you stop working with them, and there's going to be a million texts and emails that come in, right? How can we teach AI? How can you teach AI? Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. Is just go in and learn about AI, really take that deep dive. Practical is more than better than anything else. And I know there's also an on-demand class that is provided through Google. Now it focuses just on Google Gemini, and that's why I'm here live today, is because there's other AIs out there that I also look at and review. So let's go ahead now to Q&A. As I promised a moment ago, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here from this end. And I do see a raised hand.